It all began on what seemed like an ordinary sunny afternoon in the quiet suburbs, where a curious 9-year-old boy named Tom was playing in his backyard. The grass was lush, the breeze calm, and the world, to him, felt safe and predictable. But that illusion shattered the moment his fingers brushed against the earth and felt it trembling beneath him. Startled, he jumped up just in time to witness the ground collapsing into a growing sinkhole. What had moments ago been just soil and grass was now a gaping void in the garden. Fear flashed across Tom's face, but curiosity quickly overpowered it. The rumbling subsided, and Tom knelt beside the mysterious opening, peering in with wide eyes. Whatever lay below was hidden in darkness, and just as he considered getting closer, his mother's voice echoed from inside the house. He rushed in, breathlessly recounting the strange event, and tugged her arm to come see. Reluctantly, and with visible unease, she joined him at the sinkhole. But as soon as she glanced inside, her expression twisted into panic. She let out a soft cry and darted back toward the house, her son close behind. Within minutes, she was on the phone with the police, speaking in a voice Tom had never heard before, frantic, fearful, urgent. 15 minutes later, flashing lights filled the street as police officers surrounded their home. They cordoned off the garden with yellowed tape, set up a perimeter, and began their investigation. Tom watched anxiously from the window as officers worked together to lift something heavy from the hole. Whatever it was, it required 4 officers to pull it out, and once they did, it was swiftly covered with a tarp. Tom squinted, trying to catch a glimpse, his imagination spiraling with possibilities. Maybe it was treasure, a time capsule, or even dinosaur bones, but he never expected what would follow. That night, the house was thick with tension. His parents, usually calm and loving, were now arguing in low, harsh tones behind closed doors. Tom heard his name mentioned, and words like hole and danger. The confusion swelled inside him. But nothing prepared him for what happened the next morning. The same officers returned, only this time with a chilling purpose. Without warning, they handcuffed both his mother and father and led them to the squad car, as Tom watched helplessly from the doorway, tears streaming down his cheeks. Officer Dunleavy, who had been part of the team the day before, gently asked Tom where he could stay. Fortunately, a kind neighbor who had witnessed the morning's chaos offered to take him in. Shell-shocked, Tom walked across the street with her, unable to make sense of anything. Later that night, the television added another painful blow. The news reported a theft of epic proportions and displayed photos of his parents next to the headline. Tom's heart sank. They were accused of stealing something valuable, though no specifics were given. Desperate for answers, Tom pleaded with the neighbors, but they had none to give. They gently ushered him to bed, hoping rest would shield him from the storm. But sleep was impossible. Lying in the unfamiliar bed, Tom stared at the ceiling, overwhelmed by unanswered questions. That was when he heard something's off scraping, whispering voices, movement coming from the backyard of his home. Curious and cautious, he tiptoed to the window and carefully pulled back the blind. What he saw sent a chill down his spine. 3 shadowy figures in dark clothing, digging in the very spot the police had closed off. Fear coursed through him, but instinct took over. He snuck downstairs, crept out of the house, and edged toward the property line, trying to catch their word. The thieves were speaking in hushed tones, talking about the stolen items. That's when Tom learned the truth. The whole ordeal revolved around a priceless Egyptian statue and more. The men had buried numerous stolen artifacts in Tom's backyard, framing his innocent parents in the process. They laughed, thinking they'd gotten away with it. but Tom knew he had to act fast. The evidence would be gone by morning, and he was the only one who could stop them. Nobody would believe a 9-year-old without proof. Desperately scanning his surroundings, Tom spotted a familiar figure, Carol, the neighbor from across the street, walking her massive Rottweiler, Larry. Larry was known for being hyperactive and unpredictable, and for once, that worked in Tom's favor. He sprinted into the street, drawing Larry's attention. The dog lunged, his leash slipping from Carol's hands. Barking like mad, Larry bolted after Tom, who guided him toward the garden. He opened the gate just enough for the dog to squeeze through. What followed was chaos, barking, yelling, and the sound of men scrambling. Tom's plan had worked. The startled intruders fled, their clothes torn and their operation disrupted. Carol, having caught up, was alarmed to see trespassers climbing over the fence. Tom breathlessly explained everything: the hole, the theft, the frame-up. While Tom restrained Larry, Carol spotted a tattoo on one of the criminals. She immediately called the police and stayed with Tom until they arrived. At the scene, officers recovered a duffel bag left behind by the thieves, stuffed with stolen goods. This was the breakthrough they needed. Carol and Tom were taken to the station, where they shared every detail. Their separate testimonies aligned perfectly, giving investigators enough to not only clear Tom's parents, but reopen the entire case. That same night, detectives uncovered over 24 stolen artifacts buried in the garden, all belonging to a museum. With the new evidence, Tom's parents were released the next day. The emotional reunion was unforgettable. Tom raced into their arms, crying with joy as they thanked him for his bravery. But the story wasn't over yet. Using Carol's description of the tattoo, police worked with a sketch artist and identified one of the criminals through their database. These were no small-time crooks. They had long records. Within hours, officers had a location and launched a raid. Incredibly, the thieves had not yet fled the country. They were arrested at the given address, their operation dismantled for good. The next morning, Tom awoke to something he never expected: fame. The same news station that once painted his parents as criminals now praised Tom as a hero. Calls poured in. The police invited them to the station, and when they arrived, they were greeted with a standing ovation. Tom and Carol were each awarded a Medal of Honor for their courage and quick thinking. Justice had been served. The artifacts were returned to their rightful place. The criminals received 20-year sentences, and Tom was finally able to sleep in peace, knowing his family's name was cleared, and that a little bravery can change everything.